Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's Big Brother Canada 10 finale chat.
Oh, hi. It's episode 29. Are you shooketh?
I am.
Oh my god.
I felt like we were doing an endurance competition just trying to watch this episode with all the shutdowns.
Alright, no, but I mean, this season, let me just start out by saying this season has been my most enjoyed season of Big Brother Canada.
It's been a top season
except
me.
for Tim, of course, as a house guest. But
I can't say for sure or not if it's my absolute favorite season, but it's definitely up near the top. And I have to give a huge shout out, yes, to Heather over at Video Brother.
Heather!
For keeping those episodes playing all season. We couldn't have enjoyed this show without you, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lots of love from the USA.
LOL.
Yes.
Not laughing out loud, just lots of love.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. So, wow. This finale was not a boring one. That is for certain. This finale, the hits kept coming.
This season, never boring.
No.
It always took these crazy turns. There's always something wild happening, something so unexpected, and this finale did not disappoint.
You thought you had it all figured out, but you didn't.
Yeah. Think of like the craziest thing that could possibly happen.
And it would.
And that usually happened.
All right.
Wild.
So last time we checked in, which was yesterday, Helena was evicted.
I mean, that was crazy enough, right?
And freaking Kevin survived the block.
I thought for sure.
Oh my god.
I thought for sure that Betty was going to vote out Kevin.
So that meant the final three was young Betty, young Josh, and young Kevin.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so...
What a trio. Love that.
Yeah. The show started off with a longer than long 15-minute recap.
Yeah.
Which was power-packed, which wasn't a chore to watch because it was so exciting.
I feel like they did a great job of recapping the season and telling us what's been going on, reminding us of some of the craziness.
You know what made the recap? Geno on the toilet.
No, I don't want to see that anymore.
I hope that was the only time
that happened.
That happened, but I have my doubts now.
I mean, we keep seeing the same one over and over, so hopefully.
All right, well, let's get right to the final HOH because we got a lot of stuff to cover here.
Oh my goodness.
So this is part one.
Yes.
Just like America does it. It's not how my mom does it, but it is how Canada does it.
Yeah, as usual, it's a 3-part final HOH competition, and the first one is an endurance of sorts.
Okay. Usually, they would, in the BBUS ones in the past, they would do like the wall or, you know, some sort of you gotta sit there and be pelted with something. But
yeah.
In Canada, they had a skills one that was very Survivor-esque. Mm-hmm. They're dressed up in these gorgeous little purple toga things. And they're traveling all over multi-level stage. Mm-hmm. Up and down with discs on like these Olympic torches almost. Yeah. So it's really pretty cool.
Okay, stop yawning.
They had to go and on back and forth between the top of the stage and the bottom of the stage and get two additional tokens each time.
Right.
And they had to get up to 26. 26, you're a winner.
Yes.
This was not easy because the thing on the torch wasn't even like flat. It had like a bump thing on it. So
yeah,
this took many hours.
I mean, there were times throughout this competition where any of them could have won. Right? Mm-hmm. But there were lots of spills.
There were lots of dumpies.
Yeah.
At 22.
26 a few times.
26. Oh my god.
So then,
crazy.
At one point during the competition, I love how Kevin just sat down and was like, I'm going to figure out something like unconventional here because what I'm doing right now is not working. Mm-hmm. So he had the idea to not stack his coins straight up. Mm-hmm. He kind of like
staggered them a little bit.
Made them a little lopsided, and it worked.
Is Kevin some sort of a magician?
I mean, it kind of just goes along with the whole, like, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, even though it's not working, that's, like, the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, obviously he was smart to change it up.
I don't know if it had any effect on it, but it was fun.
I mean, it made him win, right? Or at least he won, and maybe it was why. I don't know, whatever.
The final run that he actually won on, he must have had like 3 freaking crazy saves before he put that thing in the holder.
It was wild.
It was nuts.
So, yeah, he won part 1, which, again, I was not expecting.
No. Let me just tell you, I really appreciated, I really enjoyed, and I'm so glad that Arissa wore that dress, the eagle dress, the First Nation dress.
Not only was she rocking it, but she talked about who designed it, and I think that that's awesome.
It was amazing. And hats off to Canada for recognizing that. I wish there was more of that in our country.
Yeah.
But I think it's great.
Right.
And respect, yes.
Very, very cool.
All right, so final HOH part 2.
Okay, so now Kevin goes automatically to part 3.
Kevin is sitting in bed, studying his days and stuff for his final installment of the competition. And
Josh
the other
and
two
Betty,
are sweating it out.
They got to face off in part 2.
Wall of trivia.
Ooh, this was cool. They kind of had like this projector thing going to make this competition happen.
Did you leave 75% of your hand skin on the wall?
No, this is not Big Brother over the top.
All right, well, you had to answer, I don't know how many questions, probably 7, because that seems like the magic number.
Yeah, I don't remember how many it was.
By tossing beanbags onto the correct answers on these little shelves. So if you got it wrong, if you got even one wrong per question, everything just reset, and you had to do it again.
Yikes.
So
this was tough, because even if you knew the right answers,
you still had to have the skill of landing those beanbags.
And honestly the luck as well, because those beanbags can be unpredictable.
Right. Well, Josh, he went first, and he got stuck on one question. And we were
still
all
seemed like,
oh no, he's taking a lot of time.
I don't know, it felt like he was moving pretty quickly, right?
Well, until Betty got up there.
Oh my god.
And Betty was having trouble just landing the beanbag on Marty.
Marty's revenge.
Yeah, Marty's revenge is right. Betty, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, so then when we actually, like, heard the results, Betty's time was 2 hours and 2 minutes. What?
So I was all prepared for Josh to be like, you know, at least an hour or something. 34 minutes.
I'm surprised that they didn't have, like, a timeout time, you know what I mean? Like, if you hit a certain time, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they
had to just, like, go through with it because they were down to, you know, two people doing this.
Only.
But, well,
maybe they needed the overtime. I don't know.
I don't know, but that's
Josh won, obviously.
That's quite a difference in the time. So, yeah, Josh moves on to part 3. Betty can only be taken to the final 2 now. She can't get there herself.
I mean, she's in a pretty good spot, right?
I mean, you'd think.
Because you'd think Josh would take her and...
Maybe Kevin.
Maybe Kevin.
Maybe.
Well, it's time for the jury. Let's visit with the jury.
Ooh!
It's round table time.
Okay.
Only they weren't sitting at a table and it definitely wasn't round. All right, so Helena joins in.
Well, Kiefer is hosting this round table.
Yes.
From last season. Canada's favorite from last season.
Kiefer is a very likable guy.
Of course.
Everybody loves Kiefer.
I was glad to see him again. That was cool.
He's great. He's very personable.
I always think back to the roast they did last season, and Kiefer just, like, killed it.
Yeah, he's really good. All right, so Helena arrives, and she said, I should have kept JC Lynn, and then I wouldn't have been evicted. I told you so.
Look what happened with Josh. She lets everybody know Josh had all the power. He saved Betty with the power veto, and then Betty evicted her, and everyone was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell was up with the jury this season.
What do you mean?
They just didn't seem to know what was going on most of the time.
A lot of them were pretty lost.
Yeah.
Throughout the season. But
either they were making out too much, cuddling too much, prancing around too much, I don't know, sleeping too much.
It's a fun bunch, though. It's a very fun jury
this
this season.
one of my favorite casts of all time.
Yeah. All right, so the jury starts going through the merits of each of the final 3 house guests.
Kiefer said, what do you think about Betty? Marty said,
she played a good game.
Yeah. Helena was a little bit bitter, or maybe she was just campaigning for Kevin nonstop.
Well, Helena's going into this being like, Kevin's mastermind, like, he's gotta win.
I mean, she is gonna...
She's not wrong, though. I mean, Kevin did manipulate the crap out of so many people.
Betty never had to do anything.
Yeah, everybody was talking about how if you were going up next to Betty, you knew you were in trouble because there was a really good chance that Betty was going to be the pawn.
Right.
And there's something to be said for that.
All right. So then Kevin. What do you think about Kevin? Well, Moose loved Kevin. Mm-hmm. He thought he did okay, but he didn't win any comps.
Who cares?
It's not all about the comps.
It's so annoying when a juror will place, like, all of their...
So much importance on all their eggs in the comp basket.
I mean, look at what Kevin did without winning all those competitions. He's got so many moves on his resume that he was a huge part of making happen.
Helena and Marty both recognized that Kevin was a mastermind.
Yeah, Kevin
played them.
Marty straight up got played by Kevin multiple times. So, like, he recognizes now what went down here.
Right. And what do you think about Josh? Well, everyone's bitter as hell about Josh.
Everyone seems kind of bitter about Josh.
Because apparently Josh had an alliance with everyone.
I mean, he was very close with a lot of people.
Was that Josh's strategy, or was Josh just a girl who can't say no?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people wanted to work with Josh, and they were all approaching him. You're not going to say no. But he also...
had a great social game. Everybody loved Josh.
He's just such...
Until they didn't.
Such a wonderful, like, loving, caring person. It was
sensitive.
It was easy for people to gravitate towards him, and then, he had to prioritize. He had to say goodbye to some people. They weren't happy about it.
All right. Well, Kiefer's got to go, so bye, jury. So it's time for the final HOH comp part 3.
Okay.
And it's called This Jury is Wild.
Sure is.
All right. So Hermann.
There was a nice little, like, video intro to this.
Yeah, it was very well produced. Mm-hmm. And it went on for quite some time, so I thought, oh, wow, this must be part of the competition.
No, just for funsies.
Just for fun.
Well, Hermann was, like, this old-timey game show host. He really got to shine with this because he's got so much personality.
This promo reminded me of a show that was on when I grew up called The Joker's Wild.
Well, that's probably what it was.
Probably, but a little bit different, but the same idea.
So all of the jurors were in their own squares, like talking about who their favorite players were from past seasons.
Absolutely nothing to do with the questions.
But it was cute. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fun.
All right, so it was basically, I'm going to ask you questions about the jury, and you have to answer A or B, says Arissa. And the most points after 7 questions wins.
Okay, so it's Kevin versus Josh.
So Kevin got the first one wrong. And I was like,
oh, well, that's it.
Well, then a couple more, they were, tit for tat. And Josh got one wrong, so they were tied.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they made it to all 7 questions, and it was 6-6.
So Arissa was like, all right, sudden death, let's go.
Yeah, but... I thought they were just going to pull out the chalkboard.
That's what I thought too, but it was something else. It was sudden death.
Then Arissa said, first one to answer wrong is out. So I'm thinking they're going to keep going.
Yeah, until somebody's wrong.
But they did one measly question more.
Maybe they were short on time or something. Maybe they were running behind and they were like, you know what, let's just get to the chalkboards. Let's end this.
Yeah, so they both got that question right, and then they had to pull out the chalkboards.
This question was...
ridiculous.
Oh my God.
How many hours were each of the jurors in the BB house?
All put together. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of math.
It ended up being like 10,000?
No, it was like 8,000.
It was like 8,000?
And Josh put
Price is Right rules.
7,000 something. Kevin was over. He was over 10,000.
Right.
So, yeah, Josh won the final HOH. Oh, my goodness. Wow, he really won out here. So, at this point, I'm thinking, all right, well, bye, Kevin. Josh is definitely going to take Betty to the end.
I mean, how many times did Josh burn Betty?
A few, but he was also like, I want to go to the end with you. Like, let's do this. But we can never forget when Kevin was going to fake self-evict and Josh was all, Kevin!
Don't do it!
Right? Always got to go back to that moment.
Okay, so if you watch the episode, you know that Josh evicted Betty. She was blindsided. I was blindsided.
We're all blindsided.
It was nuts.
It was freaking wild.
Literally screamed.
For like 5 minutes.
Yeah. It was just like, oh my God, I can't believe how this season has been delivering.
Number one, like, what a shock. But number two, Josh, what have you done?
Yeah.
You just gave the game away. To be fair, I think
he probably would have lost. I think he would have lost
against Betty, too, because this jury was stacked against Josh.
Yeah.
But wow. I mean, he made his chances of winning even less.
Right.
So I mean, somebody put it really well on Twitter. I have to say, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, okay, Josh thought he was evicting Netta, but he evicted Sabrina instead. So, little season 2 fun there. But yeah, I mean.
All right, so Betty is shooketh. She walks out. She doesn't hug anybody. Mm-hmm. She comes out and talks to Arissa, and she said, I got BB'd.
Yeah. I mean, Josh was all, I have to evict the person who I think was playing the best game this season. Mm-hmm. And he thought he would have a better chance against Kevin. Like, what? What?
Read the room.
Yeah.
All right, so she had a great attitude, Betty did. After she came out, she was shocked, but she said, you know what? It's a game.
I mean, she was clearly upset, as one would be, right?
Right.
Going through that again. But
she still loves Josh.
Yeah, I thought she handled it really well.
She said he made a really good game move, and she is still a winner. And yes, we agree. You are, Betty. You are still a winner.
Oh, Betty was such a joy to watch this season.
Class.
So much fun.
All right, so let's cut to the jury on stage. They hustled them out there. Betty joins in, and people were going nuts when Betty walked out. They were. And she freaking dropped the F-bomb. She was like, sit the F down!
Yeah, she was not happy with, I don't know who she was talking to specifically.
Probably Hermann.
It seemed like maybe Hermann, like, you know, you look way too happy to see me right now. Woo! All right.
All right, so now is the time of the show when the jury gets to ask their questions. And I have to say, these questions were freaking ridiculous.
I think the jury had already
ridiculous.
Decided how they were going to vote going into this. But
why'd you get rid of me? Huh? I'm so important and wonderful, and that's why I went out like first in the jury. And you know, what was your biggest game move? Blah, blah, blah.
I mean, it seemed like they were really trying to get to the bottom of, like, who was Josh the most loyal to? Kevin, you know, tell us about your game-defining move. And Kevin, instead of, like, picking out ways that he, like, manipulated people, he was talking about how his big move was aligning with Helena, aligning with Josh.
Right.
And I thought Kevin handled the questions really well.
Kevin was very well-spoken. Kevin was very concise. Mm-hmm. He was quick with his answer. He had a lot to say.
Yeah.
And then Marty, who even knew what he was saying?
Marty was saying, like, if I told you that I didn't want you to use the veto on Josh, would you still have done it? And Kevin was like, yes, I would have. Summer, her question was for Josh. She is pissed still that he took her out during the triple. And he was basically like, I thought you were a huge threat to win, so that's why I did it. And she was like, yup.
JC Lynn's question was, it fell flat for me because she was just like, was appearing weak part of your strategy?
I didn't like this. Yeah, she was asking Josh and she mentioned how he was crying all the time, but I just feel like that's pushing this terrible idea that somebody who cries is weak.
No.
So I didn't like that.
Josh said, no, dummy. They were for real. The tears were for real. The deals were real.
Yeah.
The savings are for real. We haven't seen that commercial in a long time, have we?
No.
All right. So, Helena, did you know that Josh was going to send me home, Kevin? And Kevin said no.
He was honest. He's like, no, I didn't know what was going on.
And Betty,
this was
to Josh, did you always know you'd evict me, final 3? And Josh freaking broke down.
Josh was crying. Betty was crying. It was very emotional.
Betty says, it's just a game.
I still love you.
And Arissa was just like,
I think they're gonna be okay, but like...
Yeah, it's emotional.
That's a lot at once.
They're both very sensitive people, and...
I think they're gonna be okay after
it's a
this,
game.
though. Yeah.
I think they're going to need some therapy, maybe.
Oh.
Which, not a problem. All right. Final 2 pleadings.
Okay.
All right, so Josh got up there and basically said, sorry, everyone.
Sorry, I betrayed everybody.
Never thought I'd be here. I changed my clothing 3 times a day in the beginning because I was afraid I was going to be sent home early. Never thought I'd make it to the end. And he said that he wants to win because he wants to represent his culture, his people.
I think that's amazing, but I don't think he focused enough in his speech on why he should win. Like, what he did in this game
that was
to deserve the win.
And then freaking Kevin got up there and gave, like, the pleading to end all pleadings.
Woo! He really sold it.
He laid the whole thing out. He said he had a lie. He's really a gamer, a super fan. And then Kevin went through each person on the jury and said something about each person. And it was fantastic.
And, everybody was cheering him on. And I think in that moment, Josh was like, I am going to lose. I made the wrong choice here.
I mean, Kevin explained, look, I'm not an athlete. I had to do other things.
Look what I did without winning all these competitions.
Exactly. And he went on and on and on. Okay, so it's time for the vote. And Arissa says, I am casting Canada's vote. We had early voting for Canada.
Yeah.
And, so she put the thing in the little round box.
Reminder, you're voting for who you want to win.
Topaz.
Yeah.
All right, so...
everybody goes up one by one.
Everybody had something stupid to say.
Nominees. I like that Geno is embracing his poor spelling.
Yeah. Sometimes I just can't stand the snarky thing. Sometimes I live for it.
I mean, Summer, she had some big laughs for voting against Josh.
I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. All right, so the first 6 come out. Melina, I barely remember her.
I mean, she didn't make it to the feeds. We didn't get to see her on feeds at all.
Jay, Steph, Kyle, Tanisha, and Jess. Who were you most disappointed that you didn't get more time with of the first 6?
That's a good question. I wanted to see more Jay.
Absolutely.
Because I thought they had a lot of fight, and I thought they could have potentially made it deep into the game. I also really enjoyed their fashion show early on, and I think they brought a lot of entertainment to the game, so I would have wanted to see more Jay.
I would say Jay only on fashion, because Jay's game was terrible.
Yes and no, because I remember Jay campaigning before they were evicted.
Jay had such a huge target on their back that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were hot and cold. Mm-hmm. So, Jay, not a great game.
But I wanted to see more from them.
I would have loved to have seen more from them.
All right. So, Arissa was chatting with all them.
She went through one by one, pretty superficially, but that's nice because...
Hey, Kyle, why was your HOH so bad?
We didn't have all day to visit with them, but... I feel like on the U.S. version, they don't even recognize them. They're just look at the first people that, the first 4 that...
We definitely get to hear more from them on the Canadian seasons. So.
Right. All right, so then they had a little segment on secrets and secret powers, and they went through the whole Steph blindside thing. She's a meme now with her mouth hanging open.
Yeah, she seemed pretty excited about that. We got to see JC Lynn winning her secret power veto that she misused. That was a bust.
All right, and Marty throwing Summer out of the HOH room.
Don't get me started on that.
Josh is not a marine biologist.
Oh!
He's a doctor.
Everyone was very excited to hear that Josh is actually
smart,
a pediatric resident.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Kevin is not married.
Everybody seemed shooketh by that. They were like, blah!
I don't know why. That's not that hard to pretend. Moose realized he was dumb. Wow. Okay.
Well, he was talking about how every time somebody would come into the jury house, he would learn how much stuff was going on that he had no idea about.
Because you're too busy acting a fool. All right, so then they had this weird semi-sexual massage, cuddle, make out, and more.
This was interesting.
Everyone touching everyone and hands. Reaching hands.
Reaching out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
All right, so Geno and Kevin.
They were cuddle buds.
Maybe
Even more so than Geno and JC. No.
Maybe Hermann and Steph. Hermann and Geno, panty wrestling. I did not know about that.
Betty cracks me up. Oh my god, that was so funny.
In their man panties.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't, like, the first time. I've seen them in, like, didn't they have some kind of panty contest or something where they had to, like, strip down to their panties?
Oh, are you talking about the pool bet?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that was something else.
Oh, okay. But I guess they like prancing around in their underwear.
Yeah.
And freaking Geno on the toilet again.
No!
They cannot get enough of that toilet.
We don't
scene.
want it anymore. No more.
All right, well.
Then it was time to get down to business.
We've had enough. Let's just talk about the winner.
Okay. We find out.
Canada voted for Kevin.
And he was like,
oh, thanks, Canada.
I think Kevin maybe wasn't sure how he was being received by the audience. Because he was wondering, like, am I a likable villain? Am I a turd villain? Like, what's the deal?
Canada approves.
Okay. And then Arissa is reading more of the votes. And when I heard that Kevin got Hermann's vote, I was like, it's over. Because Kevin and Hermann did not have the best relationship.
Right.
So the fact that he got Hermann was a very good sign for Kevin.
Kevin won by a vote of 8-1.
Whoa! Betty was the only vote for Josh to win.
I'm a little surprised even that Betty voted for Josh.
I'm not, because, you know, I think she still was rooting for Josh. She wanted to see him succeed.
But her little snarky thing was, when she voted, was like she's voting for the person who actually played the game.
Yeah, I thought she would have put Kevin.
Yeah,
just judging by what she said. Because I remember her saying that, like, Kevin was, you know, sneaking around.
Yeah.
And doing all this stuff, but okay.
I mean, at times it was like, oh, she recognized that Kevin was a villain and Kevin was doing the most and Kevin was scheming, but then she didn't recognize Kevin as being a good player because I guess he didn't win competitions.
I think she had a lot going on in her head when it was time to vote. I think she was still just reeling from being evicted by Josh.
Yeah. So Kevin was shooketh.
Yeah, Kevin $100,000 richer
of the Big Brother house with Josh, and Josh won $20,000, which he was very happy about. And Canada's favorite was Farty Marty.
Not Marty Frenette. What?
Yeah. I want a recount.
Honestly, I think that a lot of this has to do with, like, the East Coast banding together and voting for Marty. I'm not going to say much more about that, but I want to know from you. How do you rank Kevin as a winner?
What do you mean?
Like, is he upper tier for you?
Oh, absolutely.
I would agree. I think he is one of the best winners that we've seen.
All right.
He played such a strong game. He made so many moves happen. But he was also so entertaining to watch. Kevin
Martin versus Kevin Villain. I don't know his last name. I don't remember what it was. A.K.A. Andrew the lawyer.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He even mentioned that in his speech.
Who do you think is the better player?
It's tough to say. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Kevin this season was, like, way more entertaining to watch. And Kevin this season did not have to win out to get to the end. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were so many times where we're like, well, this is it for Kevin. He's going. Yeah. And then he worked his way through.
Did Kevin rely on luck?
I mean, there's always luck involved for every winner.
Right.
Always. In shows like this. But I just feel like Kevin really put in the work and was able to manipulate people.
Was this a Derek Lavoisier season where...
I would say no.
Okay.
I feel like this was a different vibe. People did not realize that Kevin was doing what he was doing. Because I feel like with Derek, people knew that he was like a leader. And they were listening to him and just going along with it. But I feel like Kevin was so much more under the radar.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So, Kevin, top-notch player.
Top-notch player, top-notch winner. You love to see it.
Totally underestimated Kevin from our
I did not think
assessment.
that he was going to be able to charm people the way he thought he was. And he did.
He delivered.
Yeah, it was awesome
Kevin,
to watch.
One of the greatest winners of all time.
Yeah, so it's been a wild ride this season. Congratulations to Kevin. Congrats to Josh on second place. And we want to thank everybody for watching with us this season. And
Thanks
for everybody,
the support, you guys. We couldn't do it without you.
Everybody who supported us just by watching, commenting, chatting during the live streams, supporting us
Patrons, super chats.
Yeah.
Just sending us stuff to our P.O. box. We appreciate it so much.
You're all amazing.
We really could not. It takes a village, and you are part of our village, and we appreciate you so much. So thank you.
And we'll see you all for BBUS.
What?
Yep.
I can't wait.
All right.
Well, actually, I want a little break
I can
first.
use a little break.
Little break.
So thank you all again so much. We gotta go. Thank you, and until next time, much love.